Welcome back to the Anthony Lee Crypto channel. Today I'm going to show you exactly why I think Bitcoin is going to bottom in the month of March. Yes, just in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think we have the ultimate bottom for this cycle, and then it is up only, okay? Let's dive right in. Let's take a look at the first piece of information. We have been looking at this chart for months, not even now, but for months we've been looking at this chart. On the left, I have the 2018 cycle. In the middle, I have the 2022 cycle, and on the right, we have current price action. Now, these are on the daily time frames, but the EMA lines you see are set to the monthly time frame, and we've talked about this extensively. I'm calling this the bear leg cross. The white is the 5 EMA, the orange is the 13 EMA, and the green is the 55 EMA monthly, okay? But we're viewing it on the daily candle chart. So in 2018, when the 5 crossed the 13, you found your ultimate bottom 48 days later, okay? In 2022, when you got the bear leg cross, you found your ultimate bottom 40 days later. Now, full disclosure, we did come later and have the big FTX debacle, and Bitcoin actually went lower by about $1,000 bucks. But for all intents and purposes, this was the bottom, okay? Kind of double bottomed here, I get it, but this was a huge scandal, which likely won't happen again. Certainly could happen again, but if not for this, then your bottom was back here, and even this was only like 1% lower or something like that. It wasn't much. It was like $1,000 bucks. So 48 days, 40 days, and as of now, in current price action, we are on day 47. So this doesn't have to hold. Of course, this could chop around for another 6 months or a year for all I know. But if this trend is going to hold, then we should be finding a bottom here likely this week, okay? And we've been calling for this. There's a fractal that matches up almost exactly here. You can see it right here. I'm going to show you the fractal itself, but you can see this is the area we currently are in compared to 2022 cycle. We came down, came up, chopped around, swooped the high, and then it was lights out to the downside. Same thing here. Came down, came up, chopped around. We just swooped the high last week. And we're now getting this current move down that we're in the short, looking for targets much lower, sub 60K at least, and I'm targeting about 48 to 50K. We may not go that low, but that is my target. I'm prepared for that. But I'm a buyer anywhere in the mid-50s, okay? I'm a buyer anywhere in the mid-50s. Is it really going to matter, guys? If you get in at 54K, and Bitcoin goes to 200K next cycle, is it really going to matter if you got in at 54K or 52K? No, it's not. So don't try to time the exact bottom. When you try to do that, you wind up missing and buying it higher on the way up once you realize you've missed the bottom. So, you know, find your target. I'm looking for 48 to 50K, but, you know, anywhere in the mid-50s is probably a great buy opportunity, not financial advice. So we're right there in the zone, 47 days, somewhere around where we should be looking for a bottom compared to the last 2 cycles. Let's look at that fractal a little more zoomed in here. You can see how exact it is. We've been following this fractal to a T in the crew, and this has been on here long before we actually got to the zone. We've been looking for it. Let me zoom out here for a second. I'm going to show you. We've actually been looking for this for quite some time just because of the fractal itself is so almost exact to the last cycle. In fact, we have these circles on here we've been looking for that really line up with the support and resistance zone of the last cycle. I mean, you can see how almost exact that looks. So these circles have been on here long before price ever got to them. We've been expecting this. So I'm expecting a little dip into this bottom circle here, which is going to be anywhere from about 58K down to 40K, somewhere in there. Okay, it's kind of where I'm looking for a bottom to form. Let me zoom back in. I want to show you something interesting in just a second that we have not looked at before. But let's continue with this daily fractal. I'm on the daily time frame. You can see it right here. Same thing I just showed you on the other chart with all 3 cycles, but you can see if I move this fractal, it may not be exact as far as candle for candle percentages or price movement, but the structure is exact. It is exact. I mean, there's no denying it. And until this breaks, in my opinion, you just have to follow it. You come down. Let me make this a solid line so you can see. You come down in the blue, and that's last cycle. Then you shoot up. then you shoot up, then you come back down, which is where I believe we are now. So the question is, do we have one more little retrace before down? One more little retrace before down, or do we just head straight down, okay? But you can see how exact this looks. Even if you look at it on the bottom side, I mean, you formed this little descending channel right here before the move up to take out the high. So this is exact so far. So if we're going to get this little move up, we called for this last week. I said I think we probably get maybe Sunday afternoon, but more than likely like a Monday fake out, Wednesday, Thursday reversal. So you've heard that before. Monday fake out, midweek reversal. That's exactly what I'm looking for this week. And if we're lucky enough to get this one more shot at a retrace, I think this is going to be your last trade opportunity before taking it down to mid-50s or lower. So we are positioned from here already. Me and the crew are here. Some of the crew is here as you broke into the value area range. You confirmed into there, but we're positioned from here. My stop is there. I've already teed some P and closed the scalp trade from there. I'm still in the day trade, but if you get one more shot here, I will let you know in the VIP Discord. By the way, if you want to join our VIP Discord, you can go to AnthonyLeeCrypto.com. You can join the VIP Discord there. I give all of my trade setups in advance, and I let you know as I take my trades and how I manage them along the way. So not financial advice. You should never just copy trade someone, but you absolutely could copy trade me if you wanted to at AnthonyLeeCrypto.com, and just click on the VIP Discord tab. All right, guys, let's jump back in. I'm going to show you the same chart, but I'm going to show you something you have not seen before that I kind of just discovered today, and I find pretty dang interesting. I'm going to click out to the monthly chart, okay? Monthly chart, and oops, sorry about that, guys. All right, I've got this saved on here, I think. All right, I'm going to look at the entire history of Bitcoin. I'm on the Bitstamp chart and on the monthly time frame, and I'm fixing to click something on for you. Watch this, guys. Look at this. All right, so the orange dotted lines, these represent the tops of each cycle, the all-time highs at that point in time from each cycle. And then the dashed line, the dotted line over, stops at where we confirmed breakout above that high in the next cycle. Okay, does that make sense? So like right here, we topped at 69K in November of 21, and then it stops over here where we confirmed the breakout in March of 24. Okay, that's where I stopped the dotted lines. And I measure from that point forward, from the point where we broke previous all-time high, I measure forward how many days, how many bars, in this case monthly bars, until the bottom, okay? And look at how similar this is, okay? The first cycle, from the time we broke all-time high, broke previous all-time high right here, until the bottom of the next cycle was 24 bars, 730 days. Maybe not exactly 734 days. That's how many days is in 24 months, but it was 24 months. You bottomed in the 24th month from the breakout, okay? All right, let's fast forward the next cycle. This is our 2014, 2015, 2013 top into the next cycle, which lasted until 2018, okay? So you topped, you came down, had a bear market. When you came and broke the previous all-time high, okay, we measure from that day forward until the bottom was 22 bars. So we got 24 bars, 22 bars, okay? Last cycle, from the time you broke the all-time high at about 20K, when you broke out of there, until the very bottom was 24 bars. So we got 24 bars, 22 bars, 24 bars. That's 24 months. So look at this cycle. From the time you broke the previous all-time high at 69K, measure that. We're looking for the bottom. This month, the month of March, is 24 bars. So 24 bars, 22 bars, 24 bars, and 24 bars. Okay, we're on month 24 since the breakout, which is exactly where we've bottomed every single time in the past. That adds to the confluence of our fractals. That adds to the confluence of this as far as days from the bear cross to the bottom. We should be bottoming, I mean the ultimate bottom, right here in the month of March. Every single stat that I can find shows that we should be bottoming there. Not only that, Let's look at our March stats, okay? Every month I place these monthly stats on the chart, and I show you, based upon historical data, the entire life of Bitcoin. I have these charts. I showed them. I put them out on the last day of the month or first day of the month. It just depends. But either the last day or first day of each month, I put them out for the following month, okay? On this particular month, I put it out on March 1st. The stats are March. And I have all the data, open, the close, the wick high, wick low, the high date, low date, all that kind of info on one chart. And I look for a trend. What's the trend? And there usually is a trend. Not always, but usually you can find a trend. And we're batting 1,000 for the last 5 months. I mean, we have nailed these predictions every single time. And we put this on here on March the 1st. This arrow indicates this is arrows on March the 1st. This is when I drew it. I have not changed it. I saved it. Go watch the video if you don't believe me. So we called for, based upon historical data, a move up in the first week of March. We called for a move up, and the box was the target. That was the historical average wick high. Came right into the box, and as you can see, I mean, we just came right up to that box. We missed it by like $10, but we nailed it, right? The stat that was 100% for March was 100% of the time when you open to the upside, open positively, you 100% of the time closed the month negative. Inversely, if you open the month of March negatively, 100% of the time in history, you have closed the month of March positively. That has happened every single time without fail. Now, that does not mean it's going to happen that way forever, okay? I acknowledge trends are made to be broken, but thus far, in the, 14 years of Bitcoin, 15 years of Bitcoin, this stat is 100%. So you don't go against 100% stats. If you lose one next year, so be it. You're 15 out of 16. That is a very high win rate, okay? So we predicted that price would move up to about 74K and then down. The historical data suggests we would head down here between 56 to 58K-ish, but I put the yellow line, which was my target, in the Anthony Lee crypto crew, down about 49.50K. That is our target, although historically, statistics suggest we'll come down here to 56 to 58K. So either way, we're positioned from this high. We are positioned from right here. So whether we come here or we come all the way down to my target, it doesn't matter. We're going to make a boatload of money. So this is just more confluence that Bitcoin is set to bottom this month. So you have all this data, historical proof, high probabilities, and the technicals all suggest a big move incoming and likely the bottom, the very bottom. Now, that doesn't mean you bottom here and you just absolutely rip right back up to new all-time highs, right? More than likely, you're going to bottom here, and you're going to bounce around here and spend several months forming a high. In fact, we've had this on the chart for, gosh, months. This is my actual prediction that has been on here for months of this is how this whole area would work out. And so far, I know it's a little jumbled on the chart, but so far we've nailed it. I'm on the weekly time frame here, although I think I did it on the daily initially. Go to the daily. Yeah, I did it on the daily. I posted this when we were right here, and I drew a line down. I was looking for a move down, boom, to here. And this was based on the fractal. Then a move up here, which we got. I had the arrow here, and we actually nailed it here. Then a move down here, and then I think we come back into the range we're at now, and we chop here for probably 6 months or so, 4 to 6 months, before we start climbing up and out of here. So this is exactly what we've been looking for. And so far, yes, I understand we are still just in this section here, but so far we've hit exactly as predicted. So that is our historical data on March. That is why we are calling for a low in the month of March, and not just a low, the ultimate low, the bottom. So if you found this content useful and you believe we're going to bottom in March, go ahead and give us a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. Join us in the Discord. We would love to have you.